Today I want to show you guys an overhead camera setup that I found on Amazon that I think is very effective if you guys want to keep a simple workstation setup but need an overhead camera angle. So in case you guys don't know, I actually make these YouTube videos in my home. This is my actual home, that's my actual desk, that's my actual computer where I edit my videos, my photos, and where I do my day job as well. So in order to make these videos, I actually have to keep my setup very light and small and nimble so I can set it up and tear it down at ease. Previously, when I want to get an overhead shot, I actually have to set up my camera like this. Yeah, this obviously sucks, but this is how I used to do it. I would straddle the tripod between my legs, tripod's leaning towards the table at about 60 degrees angle, the camera's facing down, and I would essentially just hug the camera with my arms around, and I would, showcase whatever I need to showcase, say for example this measuring tape, do whatever, and then that's a shot. It's incredibly uncomfortable, it's incredibly awkward for me, for anybody that happens to walk by my door. A few months ago, I started exploring on Amazon for a better solution, and I came across this. It's a very simple solution, no drilling required. For those of you clever viewers out there, you probably already saw the product in this video. That's right, this little guy right here. So what do you know, I'm actually straddling the tripod once again because I need to get the overhead mount in the shot to show you guys. Yeah. Good times. Anyways, so when you get the overhead mount, this is what comes in the box. So you have the giant pole right here. This pole measures 28 inches from this point right here. So when this pole is mounted on your desk, it's going to be 28 inches high. This pole actually comes in two sections, so there's a break in the middle here, but I've actually tightened them down so much they're kind of fused together right now, so I couldn't get them off. But anyways, it measures 28 inches off your desk, okay? And at the end here, there's 3 screws that mount to the clamp down here. That's the branding, Ulanzi. We know Ulanzi from their very affordable tripods and whatnot. The opening for the clamp here measures about 1 3/4 of an inch. So if your desk is thicker than 1 3/4 of an inch, then this will not work for you. But realistically, I don't think there's going to be any desk that's thicker than that. My desk is actually pretty thick. My desk measures about 1.5 inches, and I honestly had a lot of trouble looking for mounts and stuff for my desk. So this one actually works fine. But yeah, measure your desk. If your desk is indeed thicker than 1 3/4 of an inch, then you probably can't use this. But I think most desks are within 1 inch or less, so they should be more or less just fine. So there's the clamp, there's the tightening knob on the bottom, no drilling required. And this piece is the piece that I really like, because most of the overhead mounts that I saw on Amazon are simply just a pole. So they will have another pole that connects to this pole. So sometimes that pole can be telescopic, which is nice, but just having one pole is actually very limiting in terms of what you can adjust and your flexibility. It's very limited. So for example, in my case, I like to clamp the overhead mount over here on the top right hand corner of my desk. So if it's clamped over there and I have a pole just jetting out from this, then the pole will kind of come in this way. And when it comes in this way, that means the camera orientation is going to be this way. I mean, I guess I can readjust the ball head so it can kind of fidget it to kind of work this way, but it's going to be limited in terms of what I can actually do and if I can actually get into that orientation. But with this setup, it's better because the arm can just go this way and then down, and then my camera is naturally in a straight orientation from the desk. So it's actually a lot better. I think this just gives you more adjustment points. So you have the this one connects to the pole, and then you have 2 adjustment points here for your 3 arms, and then the end here you have a ball mount, and I believe it also comes with one of those 5/8 studs to mount a light onto, but by default I just have the ball mount here, and the end there's a 1/4 20 to mount any other accessories you may have, for example like a camera. This ball mount of course can also adjust any way you want, and there's also a little groove here so you can have it in a vertical position. So in order for this to work, you need a small camera. So for example, your phone, a GoPro, a point and shoot camera, those will be fine. In this case, I'm using a Sony ZV-1. You won't be able to put a DSLR or a mirrorless camera on here. It just doesn't support that much weight. And even if I put this point and shoot Sony ZV-1 on here, you will notice that it does sag a little bit. So you're gonna have to adjust it to realign it and make sure everything's straight, but it's gonna hold the weight just fine, but it does sag a little bit. So if you put a DSLR or a mirrorless camera on here, it will definitely not hold that weight. And then I can readjust these arms and then lock them in place and get it to where I want it. And of course I can readjust the ball head as well. And there you go. So that's the overhead shot with the Sony ZV-1. I can always use the flip screen here to check my composition. And the nice thing about the Sony ZV-1 is that there's also a zoom range on it. So there's a 24 to 70, 35mm equivalent zoom range on here. So if I don't have the perfect composition of my tabletop, I can always just zoom in a little bit, zoom out a little bit to get that. And I don't have to adjust any of the heights in order to get the perfect shot of my tabletop. And now I can showcase whatever I need to showcase and sit perfectly straight on my desk and not have to straddle any tripods awkwardly. And of course, with the ball mount being 1/4-20, you can also attach a light to the overhead mount as well. That's my look at the overhead camera mount or the light mount that I've configured here. Regardless, hopefully that helps somebody out in case you're looking for a way to mount a camera for an overhead shot for YouTube videos or possibly some work from home Zoom meeting situations. This is a great way to do it without having a lot of gear. I want to add a link to this in the description below. These are affiliated links, so if you do buy it through my links, it will help the channel out by giving me a small cutback. Regardless, that's my thoughts on the overhead camera mount. If you agree with me, perfect. If you disagree with me, that's okay as well. It's a free country. Bye.